Are there certain people in your life that consistently trigger you? Is there someone in your life who can literally just pull you out of peace almost instantly? If that's happening to you, I want you to understand that there's a reason for it. And it may actually be one of the main ways awakening is trying to deepen through your life. You might think that awakening or the spiritual realization happens in silence or in deep meditation or when life is calm. But notice where you're truly tested. And one of the main ways in which you are tested spiritually is almost always through people. So when it comes to relationships and it comes to people, we have to remember to be present. When a difficult situation arises with someone, and they inevitably do, we have to remember to stay rooted in the body, to allow yourself to not react, but to respond. And when you root yourself in the body and you stay within the hands, within the feet, within your just body itself, and you just stay within, there will be a response that comes rather than a reactivity. You'll notice that when a difficult situation arises, you may feel almost this surge of energy, of anger or frustration, and almost as if you come up into the head in some ways and you want to react, you want to defend yourself, you want to make them wrong, you want to prove something, which are all parts of the ego, and which ultimately isn't you. But anyways, what we want to do, instead of reacting, coming up here, we want to bring ourselves back down into the body. This allows us to give an intuitive response, or to act intuitively, or to just simply not react and respond. So the number one thing you have to get right when it comes to your relationships in your life, whether they be good, or bad or whatever, you have to stay rooted in the body. It is just the number one thing to do. So when these difficult situations arise, and they will, remind yourself and remember, okay, I need to stay rooted in the body. I need to come within during this interaction and not allow myself to react or to get caught up in the story with them. So the first rule is stay rooted in the body. This allows you to automatically come into the present moment and to come into presence itself. The next step that you can do is to really take on board this teaching. And this teaching came from A Course in Miracles. It's helped me in my life when it came to, and still does, it comes to difficult situations with people and relationships in my life. And the main teaching is that when we see the person, when we see that individual, we're not really seeing them. What we're seeing is an outer appearance. We're seeing a physical body. We're seeing a personality. We're seeing an ego, because ego is the body, the mind, the personality. It's the appearance. It's the makeup of that person. And we mistake, in a sense, we make a mistake in taking that appearance, that outer physical manifestation as real, as that's who they are. And who they truly are is beyond the person. And we may meet the person, but we see beyond the person. So seeing through the ego is seeing beyond the illusion of form. And who we are is all one and the same. We are all connected. We are all one. And that is one of the main teachings of A Course in Miracles. And that how we forgive people is by we look past. We see through the illusion of the person. We see beyond the physical manifestation of that person and into the being, into who they are beyond form. And another mistake we make is that we take ourselves as reality. We take the person as ultimately true. And it's also a mistake on our end. So not only do we mistake the other person, we mistake ourselves. And this has helped me tremendously because I can look at someone and yes, there may be conflict going on, or they may be in the wrong themselves and treating me poorly or saying things they shouldn't be saying or whatever. But when I can just look past that and just understand on a spiritual level, on a deep level, that that's not truly who they are. What they're saying is their own ego reaction. It's really their past conditioning. It's really their personality. It's just their ego, and it's not really who they are. And if you can come to that, that is ultimately what forgiveness is. Because you automatically forgive people when you see beyond the illusion. Forgiveness isn't about condoning someone's behavior. I'm not saying that what they're doing is okay, or that it's okay to be saying things or be doing certain things. It isn't. But when you truly see beyond form, you automatically forgive it. So forgiveness now becomes not condoning one's behavior, but rather looking past it and seeing truth. Because whatever they do, however horrible it may be, however horrible the things they may say, they're beyond it. Even with Jesus, when he forgave the people who literally killed him, who literally crucified his body, he forgave them while he was on the cross. And he was able to do this because he saw truth. He forgave them because he knew what they were doing wasn't ultimately them. And he said, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. And that's how we need to go about this with people. We just have a little bit less of an extreme lesson to be going through. Jesus took upon it himself to show, even under the most excruciating circumstances, you can still look past the ego. You can still look past the illusion, which ultimately is forgiveness, which is to forgive the other person and yourself. So Jesus knew he wasn't a physical body. He knew he was beyond form. He knew that whatever happened to him, he couldn't die, because you cannot kill who you are. You can only kill what ultimately isn't real. And when he saw the people who crucified him, he looked beyond it. He looked past the illusion. He looked past the physical manifestation of form. And he looked into the truth of who those people were. And he forgave them. So in our situations, which are less extreme, we need to be able to come into presence, number one, and number two, ultimately understand and ultimately know and see that whatever situation you find yourself in with people, it's not ultimately who they are. It's just the ego operating. And when we can see that, that allows us then to not be so hung up on them, and it loosens that grip a little bit, and then we can go a little bit deeper into who they are, which is holy and sacred and at peace and at one with us and God. And that's forgiveness. And that's how we let go of anger and frustration and resentment and all of those things that we deal with people, and we come more into peace. So they actually do a lesson in the Course in Miracles too, where we sit in meditation and you just visualize someone in your life right now that's been rather difficult, and you focus on seeing the light within them and understanding that the person that you're seeing isn't ultimately them. It's a beautiful meditation. And the Course in Miracles has a lot of really great teachings, and this one, when it comes to relationships, is very powerful. It's pretty deep, but it works, and that's all that matters, is that it works. So take this on board and try this. So ultimately, the suffering isn't caused by the person. It's caused by taking the personal identity seriously in them, but also in you. And when you're triggered, you're not reacting to who the person truly is. You're mistaking the person as reality, and you're not seeing truth. And you're reacting to the personality image that you've also placed on them, which is another layer to this. And the mind creates a someone. It creates a person that someone appears to be solid. But even that too is just a mental construct in the mind. So when we come into this awareness that the person is simply an appearance and not ultimately the truth, and that what they are is beyond it, and that is the truth. So none of these things that I'm talking about here, be presence or the Course in Miracles, is like, I'm not saying that you should just completely deny the person or yourself. Like, you know, personalities are still going to function. Boundaries still matter. But this helps lessen all of it. It just helps take it down a notch. And you're not so much now invested in the identity of the person. And you respond now instead of react. And what happens is, through spiritual awakening, your investment in your personal sense of self also starts to diminish, which ultimately brings about more peace and more truth in your life. So again, you meet the person, but you see beyond the person now. You meet the person where they are, but you see beyond the person. And what you're going to find is that in these interactions, and as you practice this, it may not be perfect right away, but over time, you're going to experience more spaciousness within yourself. You're going to feel more at ease. There's going to be a softness around us. There's going to be a stillness. And this is not created. It was just always there. You didn't realize it. And presence, and coming into what the Course in Miracles teaches here, it reveals that when you stop taking the personal identity so seriously, the light naturally will then become more of a reality for you, and it will start to shine through, and also from them, and you will see it. You'll be more aware of it. Every trigger that you experience with someone is an invitation to withdraw belief from the story, from the personal sense of self, from the personal identity, from the ego. And it's an opportunity, an invitation to see beyond it. Because this is where the rubber meets the road here. And this is where we can truly practice and come into truth. So when you find yourself in a difficult situation with someone, the first step is just to notice the story. Notice what's going on. Oh, here we go. This is an opportunity. This is an invitation to practice these principles here. Then you want to feel into the body. You want to stay present. You're not trying to correct them. You're not trying to overanalyze the situation. And the identity will start to collapse on its own when you're no longer feeding it, when you're no longer in your head and reacting. When you come within, things will just start to mellow out a lot faster from the person and from you. So relationships now become a spiritual practice and not a problem. People stop being obstacles, and they become reminders of presence, reminders of awareness, reminders that, what we are is really beyond form. So awakening doesn't happen away from people. Yes, it may be good to practice meditation and to come into the quiet, whether it be in prayer or meditation. Those things are important for sure. But awakening happens through life itself, through being out in the world and engaging. And it happens as well through people. So the next time someone triggers you, don't ask, why are they like this? Ask instead, what is this revealing in me right now? That question alone can shift the entire experience. So thank you for being here, and I'll see you in the next video.